Here's the question. How do you make the impossible possible? Simple. Remove the I am, the ego. Now, how do you step into that newfound possibility? With a series of small intentional steps. Never forget, the greatest among us started from humble beginnings. But to truly unlock your potential, realize you're here for something greater. If you're yearning for more than just a good life, let's take that small step together to reach greatness. Welcome to the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, where we're talking to those who have gone from mediocrity to motivated, overlooked to overachieving, forgettable to unforgettable. Are you ready? Let's go. Well, hello, everybody. Good to have you back. This is Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast. And I don't know what episode this is, but hopefully you'll know. But I am glad you're listening. I'm glad you're on. All 5 of you, 4 of you, 20 of you, I don't even know. I did hear that there's some listeners in Germany, and I really appreciate that you're listening. Apparently I have some YouTube subscribers in Germany, and thank you. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. I'm going to get into something today that is it's just a quick reminder. And the thing is that I like talking about things and to people that I don't always agree with everything, because it stimulates thought. It makes me go deeper. And so this is one person that I appreciate from that standpoint, because he's had immense success in the world, also espouses to be religious. I think it's the wrong religion, but I can't determine for him, nor does he ask me, nor does it matter, to be honest. He's probably fairly enamored with his own success anyway. And Grant Cardone, and he recently put out 15 success tips. And so you just take it with a grain of salt. In each of these, there's truth in each of these. It's probably, I heard recently, and I've said it on this podcast, that there's things that are true about our focus. There's things that are true out in front of us. True. There's truth. But what we should have a goal of is truth, like this broader truth that encompasses as far as our eyes can see, which I think I can probably see sitting right there looking at the camera. I can see my hands. So it's not quite 180 degrees, but it's big. Okay. Well, what if I had that much truth? Now, I probably will never have that much because honestly, I'm human. And I was telling the other day, I was never diagnosed. My mom was a nurse and whatever, and she knew that I was just being a boy and easily distracted and whatever. And until the last year and a half, 2 years of my high school time, I was lucky to get medium grades, which I really buckled down and worked hard in my junior and senior year, and I got my GPA up. And all that to say, I probably could have been diagnosed ADHD because I was really distracted all the time. But she never wanted me to have a label, so I never was. But I see some of my own successes in the world and in business and in relationships. I see them coming because of the skills I learned of distraction, of being distracted, learn how to, the ADHD mind that bounces back and forth. That's what I've heard, that the average entrepreneur, the average guy that does, that creates a successful business, is like a C student at best. And lots of times it's worse than that, is that they couldn't do good in school. One of my boys, I'm super proud of him. He struggled in school, but he's got a great little business. And it's going to keep growing because he's very relational, and he's actually smart about the industry. And he's got some lessons to learn, don't we all? But it's going to be really fun to watch him. But here's what Grant Cardone says about 15 tips. Okay. And like I said, I'm a distracted person, so I have to get lots of things from lots of different sources. So we just take this for what it's worth. And I agree completely with this one. Number one, show up no matter what, especially if it's a promise you give to someone. How that affects me, I plan one day to read a book with a friend called Just Show Up, something to that effect, because he and their family and we and our family, like we just go sit in the hospital or we just go to funerals. Like we may not know the person that died. We've been to dozens of funerals where we didn't know the person that died, but we knew the family member that was our friend. And so we went to the funeral just as a support. And and that we've done that multiple times. Is it a couple times a year we've done that. Show up no matter what. Go show up in people's lives. That's not to say that you incessantly go and you never stop, you never take any time for yourself, never a vacation, never a day off. That's ridiculous. But show up no matter what, especially, and he didn't say this is me, especially if you promised it. Then you show up, make sure it happens. Number two, make decisions quickly. Now, I struggle with this one because I'm a feel first person. Like I just can't have input causes me to feel things, whether it's human input, relational input, or out of a book, out of a podcast, out of off the radio, a call from my wife, in a meeting where they're sharing facts. They all make me feel. So I'm a feel first, and then and then what I need to be is I need to watch very carefully in my own life that I don't go to automatic quick action because then my actions come out of feeling. I need to make sure there's a step of thinking in between. So, make decisions quickly. Well, I need to throw logic in the mix to make sure that the decision can be quick. If it can't, then I shut it down. I say, no, no, we're going to pause. I'm going to get more information about that. But I realized that as a leader of business and a leader within a business and leader with my family is that often I'm stuck with decision making without all the information. 70% is what I think I'll get sometimes, some hard decisions that I need to make with less than perfect decision or uh, less than perfect information and way less than I would actually want. Even though I'm not a control freak, I want to feel that the decision's right, and often that requires me to have more than 70%, but to feel like it's a good decision. But I shouldn't worry if I don't make it there. Number three, promote your successes. There's a tricky balance. I'm a Christian guy, and in the Christian world, it's normal to be humble. And yet, promoting your successes, I think this is probably 60 or 70% true. Be careful what you do because a servant leader gives credit to others for the things that have happened. And we do need to do that a lot too. But you can also take more credit through that by looking humble than you actually are humble. So a person needs to be humble, in my opinion. But he says your successes, and that's not all wrong. You do need to say, hey, if you've got a good company, if you've got a good family, if you've done some fantastic things, someone I know closely is retired. They retired today. And that is a big, wonderful thing. And that's a success for him. And he can promote that. And it's a good thing. Yeah, I retired. It's a big milestone. And I think it's going to be good for him. Some aren't great at being retired, but I think he'll do. But that's a big success that he could promote. Number four, give more than you take. Biblical principle, serve, and the people that serve get. So there's organizations around and I was reminded of this phrase last week when I was on a call interviewing somebody for something that we need done. And they said, yeah, one of our philosophies is givers gain. And that is that's a good philosophy. So go by that. Number four, give more than you take. Number five, never quit. no matter what. I have had a lot of reason to quit over the years. Because I'm a feeler, sometimes I feel that it's done. I feel that I'm done. I feel that the project is done. I feel like should just move on. But never quit, no matter, never quit. Now, circumstances might shut one thing down, but ultimately, never quit. Keep going. Just say, okay, it's just one foot in front of the other. It's just today. I can get through today. Tomorrow, I'll have to worry about itself. I'll get up tomorrow. If it's a new day, then I'll have to do that one. But I can't plan for tomorrow yet. I mean, how I'm going to get through it. But today I can make it. Number 6, make closed deals a priority. And that is something that has meant a lot to me this year is we had some goals for second quarter and we did really, really well. I mean, we got 99.6%, I think it was, as a sales team to get to our total goal. And we are 70 at the end of the quarter, we were 74% into our total goal for the year already at halfway through, which is great. But that doesn't mean we're closing more deals. We have to. This could be a life-changing year for us and the company, and we need to make sure that we're there and we're doing it. And so it says, make closed deals a priority. That's true. Don't leave them hanging. Number 7, be willing to make others rich. That's what I'm talking to 2 of my people about. You have the opportunity right now to have a life-changing year. Keep working hard, keep bearing down, keep leaning in, and it'll change your life because you'll get paid so much. Some of your goals are financial, you'll meet those, and then security goals and other things that are on the sidelines of that money. That whole money side of things is really going to matter. And I'm encouraging them, you can change your life right now. Move out of that shanty you're in or rental and move into something else that you own. And that would be a really great thing. That was number 7. Be willing to make others rich. Number 8, flow power to people in power. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, but basically those who are already good at it, there's certain times when you need to say, okay, they know what they're doing. I'm gonna give them a little bit of authority in this situation. I'm gonna give them the authority to maybe give me advice. But it says flow power to the people in power, to people in power. And and that is about networking. It's about partnerships. It's about knowing people. And I believe that that's what he means by that. But what I mean by it is you got to know a lot of people to get where you need to go. And it's a circle thing. Like who's in my circle? Well, the inner circle should only be a few. And it's very small number for me. 2 or 3, about 3 people, close friends. That's it. And then I have a couple of mentors that are kind of on the edge of that circle. And then I have just general friends and acquaintances. Then I need to grow that number too. Number 9, say yes more than you say no. No is a good thing to say. It is a complete sentence, but say yes to things that are opportunities. So I mentioned on a podcast last time that I have regrets, and one of the regrets I have in my life is that some opportunities that came my way that in retrospect would have been good opportunities, I just shut them down. And I didn't use the one that said make deals, promote your successes, make decisions quickly. I let them just linger, and I shouldn't have done that. I regret a couple of those, not digging in deeper. One man 2 hours from where I live offered to basically mentor me into his company and then basically give it to me. Where he would have a stipend that came out of it. It was his only pathway. He had no kids that could take it over. And he basically offered me that, and I just shunned the whole idea. It was not smart. Now, would it have worked out? I don't know. But I regret not looking deeper into the opportunity. So say yes more than you say no. In particular, my words, in particular to opportunities. Number 10, learn how to negotiate like a pro. I happen to be diplomatic, not necessarily a smart negotiator, but I'm very diplomatic and I'm very relational. And I can dig deep and say things to people, not have them interpret them as being mean or demeaning. And so often I'll use that as a negotiation skill. And so I'll read it again. Learn how to negotiate like a pro. It's going to take reading books. It's going to take watching other people. It's going to take practice. So you have to negotiate. And this is kind of the other one before. You got to make deals and you got to learn how to negotiate them. And you got to take a few that you're going to lose a few because you didn't do it right. And that's how you figure out how to do it and what not to say and what to say at the right times. Better to do something than nothing. Be a person of action. And like I said earlier on this one, some of them run together. I'm a feeler. And often I'll go from feeling right into action, but I need to make sure the thinking step is in there. It doesn't necessarily take long, but it doesn't mean that if I'm convinced that something needs to happen and then I just take action, I take action quickly. So I really believe that that is something that I can continue to work on. I saw a video today where somebody walked up in front of a room of adults, don't know why they were there. And he said, if this was available, who in this room would want it? I think it was a $50 bill. And he just stood there. And most of the room raised their hand, of course, $50. And one gal got up and walked up to him and looked at him while she put her fingers on it and pulled it out of his hand. And he let her have it. And he said, what did she do different than the rest of you? She took action. Now, I could have pulled it away. He didn't say this, but I'm picturing this. There was probably more to the video or more, like I only saw a short part of it. He could have taken it away, but she got closer than anybody. And indeed, he did give it to her. So she took action and she got the $50. So better to do something than nothing. In a book, I read about Lawrence Chamberlain, and he took action during the Civil War. He was completely outmanned, and he ran down a hill and charged with bayonets down into the Union Army. I mean, into the Confederate Army, and ended up imprisoning 400 people with 80 of his own, and basically won the day. Which the importance of that was that the Union Army won the war at Gettysburg. And without him doing that, they wouldn't have. Had the war at Gettysburg been lost, there's these predictions that were extrapolated from what would have happened after, and the Confederates would have won the war, and we would have just had two countries. We would have had, they say that there would have been probably six countries that would have come out of the United States of America instead of the United States being united. Well, because the United States is united, we could protect the various countries. We could end World War I and end World War II basically by a big show of force. And the world has been better off because of an action of one man during the Civil War. Interesting. He was a man of action. And that's what the story about him, Lawrence Chamberlain, is about. He was a man of action. So be like that. And he took risk. He did say, one of the quotes, he said, I don't know how this is going to go, something to the effect of, I don't know how this is going to go, but one thing I know for sure is that I will not end this day with a bullet in my back. And it's like, whoa, yes, if I'm going to get shot, it's going to be from the front because I'm going to be moving forward toward my enemy. Often we need to have that stubbornness. Number 12, scale your business. Small is wrong. And I was small for a long time. I was in the wrong position, the wrong mindset, the wrong pricing, the wrong everything. And it took some really major lessons. Some were not hard lessons. I just fell into it organically and naturally. And we got kind of very fortunate. And we learned some things about pricing and other things that increased. And then we bought equipment, and there was this teeter-totter. We went back and forth between sales and productivity. And it was a really fun wave to be on. And that is, scale your business. Small is wrong. So don't leave it small. Scale it, grow it. That's what you should be doing. You should be advancing things forward. And you all listening know that I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. And I believe that God has immense blessing We're supposed to use the assets and the opportunities it's given us. We're supposed to use our abilities. If we're able to scale a business, I think it's tantamount to sin if we don't, because that money, that resources that come out of that scaled business, that bigger business, are are way different and better and more. They can actually multiply kingdom work and really good work around the world. And I think it's foolishness to slow down and stop. So scale your business. Small is wrong. Number 13, commit first, figure the rest out later. That's kind of goes with being a man of action, which again, I agree with, but don't do it silly. You will never have all the information to make the decisions, especially financial ones. Sometimes you've got to take a risk and you've got to blow the money, and it's got to go in some places you wish it wouldn't, and you might lose it. I laughingly say that a number of years ago, I got an E-Trade account and I've been playing with some stocks. And I put original, I don't know, it was probably 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, put $5,000 in that account. And I worked my way up to 3,400 by just making a whole bunch of bad decisions. And then I got a little smarter and things started working better. And well, do I have millions now? No, no, no. I went from the 5,000 and now I've got 1,300 and something. Well, I haven't checked it in a week, so it could be less. I don't know. But I'm not obsessed with it. The point is I made some better decisions because I lost $1,500 over the first year or two and made bad decisions and took bad advice, and the stocks went down and whatever. And it's really interesting part of my history to commit first and to figure out the rest later. Sometimes you do have to commit, and sometimes you got to lose a little and fail a little to get your most out of it. Number 14, only take advice from the super successful. I 100% with this is that I'm not sure where some of the people around me are getting their advice, but they literally are getting advice from complete dummies. I mean, not dumb in that the people aren't smart, they're just not wise. They just are short-sighted, and it's frustrating to have some of the people that are close to me come and say, wow, we're going to do this and I want to do this. And I'm like, whoa, that's foolishness. You're ignoring systems and processes. You're ignoring the people. Whatever. And so it's very disheartening to be around people that are doing it poorly by taking advice from people that haven't already done it. And I don't have enough. I said earlier, my circle is small. My good friends, only three or so, and then a circle around them, coaches and some others. But I need to expand that circle of success people, and I'm in the process of doing that right now. Number 15, and finally, demand more for yourself than anyone else. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. And it's about using the things that God's put in you to get to that greatness that I've talked about. This is the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast. And you should be looking at what can I do to be the greatest I can be. 100%. I think that that's the tasks in our life that should be an everyday task is what can I do to get better? Not just better, but great. And and what can I do to multiply my efforts for providing more resources, funding, service, time, energy to others? What can I do to multiply myself and the things that I have going in life? And if we don't demand more of ourselves, number 15 says it, demand more from yourself than anyone else, then you've got to do that. You've got to demand more from yourself. And I think that sometimes because I'm so distracted, ADHD and other things that I can blame it on, I look at that. I was never diagnosed, by the way, but I do feel like I've kind of fit the bill a little bit. I don't make that as an excuse, but I do need to demand a lot more of myself, increasingly as I go ahead. So you join me on that. I know you can. I know you probably should, but demand a lot from yourself. And so here's a soapbox that I love being on and kind of hate that it exists. Is retirement. I mentioned earlier that if that someone close to me retired today, and the reason I think he'll do fine is because he still has purpose. His job was not his purpose. There's other things in his life. He does own property, and so that'll help. But he has an overall purpose for kingdom work, and that is a good thing. And that's what I want him to have, and that's what God wants him to have. And but I don't think, he's retiring from a company, so he has a pension or whatever it's called, a retirement plan. But retirement is not a biblical concept, and I think it's wrong. Now, in this day and age, in this world, okay, retire from your organization, retire from your job, but if you stop, that's wrong. It's sinning. It's not your path to greatness. It's just not okay to stop getting better and being more efficient, more effective, and increasingly committed to your purpose in life. And I've been encouraged massively by my grandmother, who died about 4 years ago or so at 105. And until that last year or so, she was committed. Now, she did wonder why she wasn't dying, and it was funny to listen to her. And she did have that saying a lot, like, "Why am I still here?" And we need you to pray. And she did. She was the most engaging person you can imagine. She listened so well. Really appreciated her. So you still have something to do in life. So demand a lot of yourself. Doesn't matter if you're retired. And because you're retired, put that in quotes, you're not done. You're so far not done. You just don't have to worry as much about money. But you can use the resources you've been given to do great work for God's kingdom and for the greatness you were put on this earth to do. There's your encouragement. Demand a lot of yourself. Don't retire. It's not biblical. Okay, but you know the caveat that I just said. Zig Ziglar said, "You were designed for accomplishment," which indeed you were, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. You were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. Now go be great.